All right. Well, welcome, guys. We're just giving a couple minutes for a couple of people to join, and then we'll start with the webinar. And thank you for joining. I hope that really my goal here is for you to get a lot of information and the information that you need to really get the best results for your restaurant. I know under this subject sometimes a little bit complicated for some people, but we're going to try to make it as simple as possible and as useful as possible so you can implement it on your end. All right, so we're going to start. So again, this whole webinar is about how to maximize your private dining and catering leads through PPC and Google Ads. My name is Sebastian Stahl. I'm the CEO and head and founder of Breath Marketing. We're a restaurant marketing agency, and our only purpose is really to help restaurants take their marketing to the next level and achieve the results that they're after. So now we're going to move on to the content again of this presentation here. Basically, this is our system here, and how to, because I know this webinar is about how to maximize leads using Google AdWords, right? But you want to make sure that when you're running, when you're doing marketing for your restaurant, you don't take into account only one channel. You want to make sure that we use all the marketing channels available to you. So really, the method that we use, and I also suggest that you use for your restaurant, is utilizing all the channels that you have to get the best results. So even if you're doing ads for, you're running ads for private dining or catering, you can support those ads or your efforts, marketing efforts, through all different channels, right? And we're not going to get into those right now, but just so you keep that in mind as well, right? Okay. Just one commitment that I'll ask from you guys so you can get the most out of this presentation and you can really start implementing these things on your own is please turn off your cell phone so you don't get distracted. Social channels, don't interact with those. And then also if you're serious about getting the results that you're after, just dedicate this, 35 to 40 minutes of your attention to this presentation. Take notes so you can also, once you finalize this, you can implement this for your restaurant. All right. So what we're going to cover today. Why is PPC a key to unlimited scalability in terms of lead flow for your private events and catering for your restaurant? We're going to look at live examples. We're going to go through case studies for some of our clients and show you how we got from 3 to 8 times ROI for these campaigns, right? We're going to also show you how to set up the structure of their pay-per-click marketing campaigns for your restaurant and how to get the minimum cost per lead and maximum ROI for these. Okay, so then after we're going to look at KPIs, tracking, we're going to look at your landing pages and how to structure your campaign to get the best results for your restaurant. All right, so who am I and why should you listen to me? Just a short qualifier on myself so you know what I'm going to teach you is real and comes from firsthand experience. I've actually been in the restaurant industry for a long time. Since 2005, I own and operated restaurants. I was also head of marketing for a large restaurant group with multiple brands, multiple concepts, and basically led all the growth of that company, of course, together with our team, but led the marketing efforts for that company. Anyways, we have a track record of 99% client retention. That means we retain our clients that we worked with for 3 years. So that means the results that we're delivering, they're actually happy with the results that we're getting them, and nobody has left yet. All right, so articles published in Restaurant Business Online. Then also we work with restaurants across the US and helping them with structuring their strategy for marketing and then implementing that strategy, for their restaurants. All right, here are some of the testimonials that we have from our clients. Again, you don't have to read this. We can send this to you later if you're interested, but just so you understand that what I'm going to teach you comes from experience and I'm not making any of this stuff up. All right. So why should PPC be part of your online marketing strategy? So this is really important because you're going to start showing up quickly. When people are searching, you can rank, they're going to find you. So that's why you want to use PPC. You're going to show up as often as possible where your customers are looking, and you're going to show up for the most relevant search terms for your restaurant. So what are search terms? Is what actual people are searching for. So let's say they're looking for places that have catering. They're looking for places that offer private dining. So if you get those keywords into your campaigns, people are going to find you when they're searching for those terms, okay? This is really important and why most PPC campaigns fail. I don't know about you guys, and you can of course comment here on the chat, but a lot of people have run Google Ads and they've come to me saying, hey, this doesn't work. We're spending a ton of money. I don't get it. I'm doing this right. And I don't know where we're not getting results from this. So, I mean, if this is you guys, you can type it there in the comments. And of course, I think you might be able to relate with this. So the number one reason is that they don't understand the auction process of how Google works. and they don't understand the intricacies also of the restaurant industry, right? You need to understand audiences, you need to understand how people think and how they go through their journey of placing an order for catering or private dining. So you need to understand these things to properly implement these. Also, setting up only one ad group. So a lot of the things that I see with many people when they're running their ads, they set up only one ad, and then that's going to be directed for catering and private dining. They try to put everything together and direct them only to one landing page, basically, or they just send them to the homepage, which is even worse because, of course, once they go to your website homepage, they get lost with all the content that you have there. Sometimes they do send them to a private dining page that they have for the restaurant, but it's poorly built. So the people that are landing there, they don't have a clear call to action, so they don't convert and they don't submit the form or get the action that you're after, right? Okay. And lastly, what I was just saying, sending people, you're doing one ad group and sending people through your website, that's not going to do anything. And that's how many people set up these ads. And that's why they lose a lot of money in this and never get the results that they're after. Okay. So far, any takeaways, anything that you've noticed? And one thing here, I put a poll here on the comments so you guys can see, have you guys, any of you guys run Google Ads before for your restaurant? You can click there to see how many people have. Okay, I see a few no's. All right. Okay, cool. So anything that you've learned so far, anything that you've noticed, anything you'd like to share? All right. So really trying to make this as interactive as possible, so then you can also get a lot from this. And if you have any questions, you can type them here. Of course, I'm going to be here to answer those questions. Let me see. All right. Let me see anything else. A couple of chats here. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Next is, can PPC or Google Ads really drive ROI? So the answer to that is yes, 100%, if you do it properly. Okay, so we're going to show you just a couple of examples here of the clients some of the clients that we work with, and show you some of the results that we get from them. So, for example, we're looking here at, I think we're lost again. Okay, we're back. So here, for example, we're looking at one of our clients, Padrino's Restaurants. They have 5 locations in South Florida. They're a Cuban restaurant, and we ran this campaign for them. This is really an example of the dashboard that our clients see, and these are some of the results for this particular campaign. So you can see here the most important KPIs, and you can look at this at the cost per conversion. It was $28. Really, the cost per conversion is going to vary depending on your restaurant concept. In this case, again, it's a full service restaurant. But still, it's an affordable price, right? So a $28 per conversion is actually really good, because also their check average for any of these events that they run is anywhere between 500 to 1,000. It just depends. So 28 for an order of that size, of course, makes sense if you close the sale, right? So with this particular client, we're just going to go through the math here on how we did this. So there was 53 leads that came in through that particular campaign. There was a 40% closing rate or conversion rate, actually closed into a sale. And so that really averages to 500. The average ticket was 500. So if you do the math, you're getting $10,500 in revenue. And really what was spent on ads for this campaign was $1,500. So you're getting a 5 times ROI on this campaign alone. Right, so it can vary, again, by restaurant. And as you can see in this different example, this restaurant is an upscale restaurant in New York City, and their events really range from anywhere from 1,500 to 8,000. Right, so there is a complete different range here for revenue that can be generated through the leads that are coming in. So the cost per conversion here is a little bit higher, but again, if you take into consideration the things like competition in the city, of course, and also the average check that they have for each of the events or caterings, then it makes 100% sense that if you spend $40 per each of these leads and you're closing it at $1,500 minimum, it's a great ROI, right? So in this case, again, if we're looking at the math, guys, just keep this in mind. It was only done within 2 weeks. So we got 17 leads for that. It was 50% that closed. Really, this is an estimation. Then if you have actual data from your catering and events manager, of course, that provides it to you, and you look at the leads that came in and you see how many closed, and then you look at the actual sales, then that's the number that you want to look at, right? So it just depends. Some clients will provide that information. If you're at your restaurant, you have access to that information, so use it. make sure you use it, the leads that are coming in, and you match it to the sales data. Okay, so in this case, again, average ticket is 1,500. You're looking at 10,500 in revenue, and you're looking at only $692 in ad spend. That's it. So you're looking at a 10x, right, on your ROI. So those are really great results. All right. Anything that you've noticed? Again, anything that you'd like to share so far? Any questions? All right. Let me see. Let me look here. Somebody's asking here. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Okay. I don't have any questions so far. Okay, we'll continue with this. Let me see here. Questions. All right, I see here a couple questions. I have a fast casual restaurant would able to generate results like these examples. Okay, yes. So the question, the answer to that question, Paul, is yes. You can, but it depends. Your cost per lead might be different, and it also depends on where you're at and how many locations you have. So that's gonna really drive some of these metrics, right? But definitely you can get those results. It's just a matter of how you structure that campaign and then iterating to get the results. We're gonna go through those details on how we're gonna do this, but yes, the answer is that you can get these type of results. Okay, another question from Fernando. Okay, yeah, I need this with just from 5 to 10 sales. Yeah, I can close from these leads. It would be great. Yes, agree, guys. I mean, who doesn't want these type of results for your restaurant? If you can drive another $10,000 in revenue in in a couple of weeks, or even in a month, it's great to see, right? That's going to really make a difference for your restaurant sales. All right, one more question. What would be the acceptable max cost per conversion? All right, that's Clark. Clark, well, the answer to that is, again, it depends. I'm not trying to make this up, but it really depends on your restaurant concept, because like I just mentioned here with the other, like the restaurant in upscale restaurant in New York City, their average event is about $1,500 to $8,000. It just depends on the size of the events. They do big events, right? And so if you're looking at 40, that's a really good range that you want to be at. You don't really we try to stay below, again, 40 or 50, and we'll go through those ranges here a little bit further in the presentation, and you can see where you're going to be at. But the most important thing is that once you start running them, when you're trying these ads, you're looking at the different costs per lead that are coming in on your different ad sets that you create and you run. Then you're going to determine what's the best average for your restaurant. Again, I'll explain a little bit more later, but that's really the in a nutshell what it is. All right, so now we're getting into the meat of things and how to structure your PPC marketing campaign for, of course, getting the best cost per lead and your maximum ROI. Okay, so here, these are the things that you need to consider. Conversion tracking is a must. A lot of people start running these campaigns, they have no tracking systems. Again, you're gonna waste a lot of money. Don't do it. It must be broken into smaller groups or ad groups. What does that mean? So for catering or private dining, it's not all created equal, right? They're not, if people are searching by occasion, you guys know this, right? So some people might be searching because they want to celebrate a graduation. Some people might be because they work at a company and they're having a corporate event, or they are having a birthday party or whatever it is. So there's different occasions. So you need to break your ad groups into those different groups, if you may. So then it will match whatever people are searching for to your ads. Again, we're going to go through specifics a little bit further down the line, but that's something that you want to definitely consider. Make sure you have a strong understanding of keyword match types. We're going to go through those, and you need to write compelling text ads, of course, that resonate. So that means you need to understand your audience. You need to understand sorry, I think you guys lost me. You need to understand who your audience is so you can write the text ads that really resonate to your audience, right? So if it's an upscale restaurant, we're not going to use language that's very, witty, or we're going to, use very language that would be used by a younger audience, right? You want to make sure that we use the proper language on those ads that resonate with that audience. So you want to leverage ad extensions to make your ad stand out on the page. That's something else that you want to do. Again, we're going to go through the details of this in a second. You have to land visitors on a solid, well thought out landing pages. We're going to go through that as well. And of course, ongoing split testing, tweaking, and fine tuning of your campaign so you can continuously improve your results. All right. So super important. Do not think about spending another penny until you have your conversion tracking in place. Again, I just said that a little bit ago, but I repeat it again. You're going to throw money away. When I was starting out and I was testing in the Google Ads and all that stuff, I made this mistake. I didn't have all these systems in place and we were just wasting money and you couldn't really track what was happening. So don't do it. Just, make sure that you do this properly. Okay, so let's go through the essentials of tracking. There's different ways, different things that you need to consider and you need to set in place. Of course, if you're asking people to submit a form or you're asking people to make a call, those are really the two things, right? So in the forms, there's different ways to go about it. It really depends on your backend of your website, but a lot of people, if you're using, something like WordPress, you can go through Google Analytics. I'm not going to show you here exactly how to do that. I'll be happy to share with you later, maybe I can share you a tutorial on how to do that, but you can do it easily through Google AdWords, through Google Analytics and setting up your conversion tracking there. So you can know when somebody fills out that form, that came in through your ads, right? Also for your calls, use a platform like CallRail. That basically what it's going to do is swap out numbers. So basically when they're calling on that particular landing page, you call, they click on that, they call that number, and it's going to track the call that came in, not only from that landing page, but from that specific ad, right? So CallRail is a great tool. Look into it, and you can, they'll help you set up everything that you need so you can start implementing this on your landing pages. Okay, web form tracking we already went through. And again, all these are the basics of how you want to go about tracking your conversions. All right, most important KPIs. And as you guys know, of course, total ad spend, super important. You want to look at that. Average cost per click, so you can see how much you're spending per click. And then average cost per lead, which is probably one of the most important ones, or the most important. So you know how much you're spending per lead that's coming in. Lead means a form that was submitted, or it means also a call that was made, right? Because it can come from both sides. Make sure, guys, also on CallRail, there's a feature there that you can set up call recording. So you'll also know when somebody is calling, not only you're going to be able to listen into the conversation, and it'll give a little recording at the beginning, this call is being recorded. You can do that or not, but try to do that. So then you can also listen to the service that your team is providing. We've ran into many surprises, our clients do, when they listen to the recordings. They think they're doing things properly, and when they hear the call and they hear the person answering the phone and not being able to answer questions, or just all these things that happen, it's really enlightening and of course really helpful, so they can make the proper adjustments in service, right? One more thing that I'll mention about this, that is super important, that many restaurants owners miss, is that when leads are coming in through these campaigns, right, you need to respond in the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you don't respond to those leads that are coming in quickly, you're going to lose them. Why? Because these people are actually searching for different options to for catering or private dining. They're not just shopping. They're not looking at just at your restaurant, unless they're great fans of yours and they just want to order from you. Then yes, but usually they're prospecting, right? They're looking at different options. So if you don't answer, the chances that you'll lose that lead are pretty high. And actually, it's up to like 90% that you can lose that lead if you don't call in the next 5 to 10 minutes after you receive that lead. So it's super important that if you have somebody there at your restaurant, make sure when that lead comes in, you set up a notification. Again, on the back end of your website, you can set it up and have an email sent out to that person that's in charge, so they can answer the call, get the lead, call immediately, close that sale. Yeah, or if they call, of course, answer the phone and close that sale. So make sure you do that. If you're answering the calls, set that up for yourself so you can get those leads coming into your email, or get a notification so you can follow up and try to answer as soon as possible. Okay. All right. So we're talking about cost per lead, right? So it depends really on the type of concept, but anywhere between 20 and 33 per lead, depending on the restaurant concept. If it's a fine dining, it's a fast casual, or the number of locations, that's going to vary, right? And then also for catering, you're looking at anywhere between 18 to 35. That's kind of the average. Okay. And it depends on your concept, locations, and where you're at. Okay. All right, in return on investment, you see anything anywhere between 3 and 8. Again, you saw an example now that I showed was 10. So that's really a great result. You don't see that every time, but it's definitely possible if you do it right, and then depending also, of course, of the circumstances of your restaurant. Okay, it's best to have a dashboard. Yes. So when you're running these campaigns, it's really good to have a dashboard so you can see what's going on with your ads, and you can see if there's something that's off and make the necessary adjustments or tweaks to your campaign so you can not waste money and continue to get good results. Okay. If you can track true ROI, this is what I was talking about before. With this particular client, we get the information, right, of how many the leads that are coming in, and then we look at the actual, if it was the event was confirmed or not, and then the actual sales number. So then this is the actual, this is the real thing. This is what you want to look at, right? This is going to provide you with the proper information that you need to calculate your ROI, you know, the way it should be. Anyways, let's get back into structure. So how to structure your campaign. Okay, so we were talking about at the beginning of to structure it according to, you know, by ad groups. That means in this case for private dining or catering, by occasion. So let's say we have, and there's different things to this. First, you want to make sure you want to set up one that's just a general campaign for people searching for private dining or catering. That's just a brand campaign that has your brand of your restaurant there, and people that are searching catering, you know, or just private dining restaurants. Those are the general terms, right? Then we have for the private dining for corporate events, for example, or offices, right? Which are also big on catering and private events. So then we create an ad group specifically for that group. So basically people are searching for private meeting rooms, corporate event restaurants, or restaurants with event spaces, or office dinners, any of those keywords that are going to be included on that ad group, right? And then you're going to write a text that is particular to that ad group, right? So it's going to say wording that is matching what people are searching for that particular group, right? So if it's corporate events, I'm going to show you a couple of examples later, but it's going to say, you know, corporate events at this restaurant, or corporate events, whatever. We make your corporate events easy, whatever, like whatever text you're going to add on these ads, right? So then we also have for social events. That's another occasion. That's another group that you want to separate, right? Because there's people that are searching for social occasions or catering for social events, like let's say wedding rehearsals or baby showers. It's going to be different than the ones that are searching for corporate events. So they're going to type in different words to find that particular service. So that's why you split them. Also, you want to make sure, and again, we're going to go through this, that you have specific landing pages for each one of these groups. That's the ideal scenario. I know it's a little bit, yes, there's some work, there's a lot of work that goes into that, but that's the ideal scenario to get you the best results. All right, so keyword types matter. This is something else that you need to consider. So you'll see in Google, once you have your keywords up, right, you do the search, you pull up the keywords, right, for those particular ad groups, whatever people are searching for. Google helps you with that. But then when you're doing when you have to select if it's going to be a broad match, a phrase match, or an exact match to those keywords. You'll see that when you're setting up your campaign on Google. So broad match is basically what it does is that anything related to private dining or private, or even the word private, it will include it. So it's going to show your ad to a bunch of different people that might not really be interested in your restaurant and your business, right? Or in what you're trying to sell. So I would recommend to stay away from that, okay? And phrase match is going to really match the phrase. And it's still going to open it up to include some phrases that are related to that, like for example, private dining near me or private dining rooms in Miami. And it's going to, create different combinations of that. So you're going to appear on those. And then you have exact match with basically it has to match exactly that search term, right? So those three things. And what you want to do on your campaigns is have a combination of these. Ideally, I would stay within phrase match, most within phrase match and some exact match. Broad match, again, I wouldn't really get into that because again, it's going to show ads to people that you don't want to, and you're going to spend your budget really, really quick, okay? All right, so pay attention to negative keywords. This is something that come up, we have a list already determined for our clients where we have a whole list of negative keywords that we include on the ad. So anything that people are searching for don't need to be there, they will be taken out. So anything, for example, like, I put some examples here: Airbnb, baby showers near me. I don't know, people are searching for that stuff. Ballroom rental or banquet hall, okay, because they're looking for something that's related to that, but not really. So those come up, and then your ads pop up when people are searching for this. So all of those negative keywords, you want to remove them. So the best scenario, again, is creating that list first, setting them up on your ads. So then your ads are not going to be showing up for any of these words that people are searching for, okay, and you're not wasting money, okay. All right, you need to write compelling text ads that resonate with your customers. This is what I was talking about before. Depending on your restaurant concept, your audience, you need to understand who they are so you can write text that's relatable to them, that's easy to understand, and that it's and that is actually driving some action, right? Again, some tips here is less is more. Tell them exactly what you want them to do. And if you have a special offer or service that they're searched for, of course, all the better. Just reference that in your ad. Give them one decision, or just one single thing to focus on. Once they land on your page, it's either a call or fill out a form, right? Because if you make it too complicated and ask them to do other stuff, you're going to lose them. Okay, so here's an example of that. And to write text ad, guys, use the tools that are now available. AI is huge. It's just ChatGPT, huge money and time saver. Use that. Just make sure, again, you give them the right prompts, and you can even ask ChatGPT to write ads with a certain tone of voice, and you can also to ask them to write in a certain point of view. So those things, happy to share some of that stuff with you guys if you want it, and you find it useful. But it's going to help you write those ads a lot quicker, and they're very effective. Again, you have to look through them and make sure that they make sense. But it's a tool that's going to help you to go, to make things faster, right? And you can write a bunch of them, and then you can really select the ones that makes the most sense. You can test all of them and then see which ones performs the best, okay? All right, again, some of the examples here that we've done for our clients, as you can see, it just depends on the restaurant concept, right? And then these are the things that I mentioned a little bit ago about using all the tools that Google has to offer. So basically using ad extensions, using callouts, right, when you're setting up your ads. So you can make these ads really stand out, when they're comparing it to your competition. So in this example, like I'm showing you here, you can see that this is an ad for Ruth Chris. I mean, they have very limited real estate here on their ad, meaning space. Then you can also have here the other examples, also very limited space of what they're doing, and they're not using everything that the platform provides to help you to get better results. In this case, this is what we did with one of our clients. Again, you have, look at how much more space we get here. So when people are searching, they're going to go, guess what ad's going to show up, the most, what's going to really stand out the most. And it's going to be this ad, right? Because we're using everything. Okay. So make sure you do that. So there's the call out extension, the location extension, and the call extension. So we use all of those. Okay. So that's the way that you want to set up your ads. When you're setting it up, you'll see that Google's going to prompt you to enter that information there. So make sure you use that information. If you need more info on that, we can definitely provide it to you, or you can provide it for you. Or also, of course, these are easy things to find online on examples of these if you have some questions on how to set these up. But again, this is the way that you want your ads to look, right? Okay, now talking about landing pages. This is a whole subject in itself, but I'm just going to go through it quickly to show you some examples, right? So you want to make sure that when they land on your page, your page is actually built to convert. So that means that when they get there, they get the information that they're looking for fast. Somebody shows something that's attractive, and then you give them the form to fill out so they can quickly provide that information for you. So here you can see there's an example. They have a take tour. Basically, it's a really cool 3D tour. So if you click here on the take tour, it's going to show you the 3D of the restaurant, shows you all the private spaces and all that stuff. That's great because, again, it's a selling process, right? This is sometimes for events. This is not something that they do it immediately. They're looking at different options, and they're trying to evaluate a restaurant according to other options and seeing which one they like the most. So make sure that you beef up your landing pages so you can really showcase your restaurant in the best possible way, and then also give them all the information that they're looking for. So for example, here is like how many guests can accommodate. It can show you, how many guests can accommodate in the terrace and the front, or gives you all that information. Then when you click on that, fill out the information. That's one example. Another example of another restaurant. So basically they have the two things here. So basically this one is for their private events. So they do basically what happens, they have the multiple locations. Is the location there, you click on inquire event and then it opens up the form, you fill it out, and that's it. Again, have the clear information, have the form. If possible, there's different ways of doing that. You can also set up the form at the top, or you can set it to the side, put the information to the left side, form on the right side, and just make it simple for people to to fill out the form, or also have, of course, the phone number visible there so they can call if needed. Okay, if they want to do that. Some people like to call, a lot of people just want to fill out the form. Okay, these are just a couple of examples. There's many ways of doing this. Happy to share with you other examples later. Another thing that you want to do is, let's say you have an offer, so you can have that visible on your landing page once people go there, right? So then they really see the offer that matches what you wrote on your text ad, on your ad itself, and then everything's matching. That's also important because Google quality score. So basically Google, what it does, it will determine a quality score for your ad depending on a few variables. And one of the things that it considers is that your text ad actually matches what you're doing on your landing page. So that's why we recommend to have a specific landing page for each of the ad groups. So then Google will help, will actually qualify, will have a higher quality score, and the results for your ads are going to be better. Okay. All right. Anything that has stood out so far? Anything that you noticed, or anything that you'd like to share or learn so far? Anything you want to share? All right, let me see. All right, here I have, okay, how do I go about building a landing page for my campaigns? Okay, click. So there's many ways to do this. Again, it just depends on the backend that you have for your website. If it's WordPress, it's pretty simple, but I would suggest, work with a designer, because you don't want to do it all yourself. You want to make sure you have somebody that, can do it right. But it's about structure. It's about, again, if you're if it that has the information, your text that is included on your landing page, that it has a clear and simple structure, that it has the form above the fold. Above the fold means when you land on the page, the form is right there, available and visible to you, or at least like the button that says inquire now, you click and it opens up the form immediately. So those are the things that you want to consider. But basically get it with a designer, and then you're going to have to get a developer. You guys can find a developer if you don't have one on Upwork, or there's many platforms you can find freelancers that will do this for you. All right. Then, all right, Paul's asking, should I create? All right, sorry guys, internet is a little wonky today. Sorry, there was one question here. All right, so for how long is it recommended to run a Google ad campaign? Okay, so you want to, it really depends, right? But these are usually evergreen campaigns. So that means you're running them on a consistent basis. But if you're doing that, you need to ensure that you're optimizing these campaigns constantly. That means testing out different text ads so you can see which ones are performing better and keep the ones that are performing the best. The ones that are not performing well, turn them off, right? So do that. You want to be also looking at your landing pages, making sure that people are actually converting when they're landing on your page, and you're and tracking your cost per lead and all your KPIs, and making sure they're within the range that we just shared. If you do that on a consistent basis, you're going to get consistent results. Of course, it's going to vary also by season, because as you guys know, usually there's seasons where you have a lot more orders, like the holidays, or for example, during May for graduations, people are searching for places to have their private events for the graduation celebrations. So there's going to be an uptick usually in sales during that time. So again, I would sustain an evergreen campaign, again, optimizing it, and then during seasons, for example, for like I said, graduations or holidays, you can increase your budget, and you're probably going to see a lot more leads coming in. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Okay, lastly, these are the questions if you're working with a PPC provider, so somebody that's helping you out with your Google Ads, or if you're working with an agency. These are some of the things that you want to ask them. So you can take a screenshot. I'll send this presentation later to you guys if you want, and then you can make sure to get these questions to your provider. So how much of my budget will go to Google AdWords spend versus management fees? Some agencies charge management fees and some don't. It just depends, right? We don't actually charge we don't charge a management fee. It's just like really it's a flat fee, but everything that we determine a complete separate budget for ads. So that's how we do it. So what type of tracking will be put into place? Yes. So make sure you ask them. Also, they're going to use call tracking for your campaigns, for your actual ads, and they're also going to use the web form tracking. So you can have that information. Also, you have to ask, to give you the details on how many calls came through the ads and how many calls became organic, because sometimes I can be confused. Also, you want to make sure they're tracking the KPIs that we reviewed and ask them if they're doing that. And then also that they need to provide those metrics that we looked at, the cost per lead, cost per click, and all that information, and having a dashboard makes that a lot easier, right? Also, you can ask them what we talked about setting up landing pages for a specific ad, for a specific ad group. So if they tell you no, that's not a good sign. So if they're doing that for a specific ad group, you know that they're on the right track. Okay. Also, make sure that you ask them if they're creating landing pages for you that are going to be optimized for conversion, like we talked about, and if they're doing split tests. So that's basically, again, creating different ads and testing to see which one works best and getting them the best results. All right. So what makes our campaigns better and different? Like we said, we do the split test on all our campaigns. So we test and see which ones are working the best. We're always improving results, basically driving down the cost per lead and maximizing the leads that we get. We set up, of course, a conversion tracking. We do the conversion, the landing pages that are optimized for conversion that we discussed, and also you'll know exactly what is coming in through PPC for your organic calls and what are actually coming from your ad efforts. So you can really determine a true ROI. Okay. You will also know the keywords within your AdWords campaign that drove the calls and at what cost. Super important. Okay, so also for each ad group, we set up multiple text ads and rotate based on best converting ads. That's what I was just saying about tweaking and testing different ads to see which ones are getting you the best results. Also, we provide a dashboard basically showing you what's going on, like you saw here in the presentation with your ads. It's always very transparent and you see what's going on with your campaign. Okay, so there's complete transparency in terms of spend, of course, that what we're spending and what you're getting in return. So that's something with many marketing agencies that doesn't necessarily happen. We are very clear about what you're going to spend before we run a campaign, and we're very clear on what you actually got in terms of ROI for your campaign. All right, so guys, hope this is really the end of this webinar. I hope that you got a lot out from this, that it was really helpful to you. If there is something, if you guys need help with any of this information, again, please send us a message. And if you'd like to schedule a call with us because you need help for your restaurant or your particular case, make sure that here, I'm sharing here a button on the screen. If you need to talk with us, just click there on that button there. So you can click on Let's Talk, and you'll be sending us a message so we can schedule a one-on-one call and we can look at your particular case and see how we can help you. All right. If there's anything else. Oh, Peggy, hi. Hope this was helpful to you as well. Feel free to reach out after the session is over. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed this webinar and stay tuned. We're going to be sharing a lot more information. We're going to have more webinars on different subjects, restaurant marketing, that it can be helpful to you. Oh, sorry. And you can also, if you want, you can share with us any topics that you want or you would like to hear covered that would help your restaurant get better results. Just send us a message, and we'll definitely consider that for our next webinars. All right, guys, thank you so much. Take care.